Yes.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
Holy shit. Is he back?
He might be.
Did you guys hear that? Yes, man. Are you here?
Yo.
Oh my God.
Yes. Right on.
I've been waiting to meet you for ages.
When I was growing up, my parents always said, you know it's going to be a good year when in the first week, the yes man shows up. Yes man, you were gone for a bit. Was there a bit of trouble?
Yes.
We have some car trouble, mate, because I know sometimes the yes man was a little late. Maybe some.
That sounds a little bit qualified. Was the man keeping you down?
Yes.
Was it the no man? You can tell me.
Yes.
Oh.
Wow, a no man.
Wait, I never knew that there is the no man like your arch rival?
Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah.
All right, look, I'm sorry. We're going to let you guys get a room, and we're going to contact the Romance Novel Writing Association.
Anyway. See you later.
I'm impressed that Kylo didn't make any kind of like clever, coy references.
Well, he's a good guy now. So.
Oh.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh.
Killed me. I don't even know what the fuck I was doing in the movie, man. I don't know. I was supposed to be like Supreme Leader. At the end, I was Supreme Leader, and then I begin this movie just killing people. Not fair.
Very confusing. Yeah, you had a very confusing.
Triangle so I can find a new boss. And guess I'm me, Kylo Ren, independent contractor. Cube man who I've never met in my entire life. Also, the only thing I know of you is that you killed my hero. Sure, I'll be your friend.
How great would it have been if that last movie...
Wait, hold on, how great would it be?
He's still got-
Anything? Yeah, it'd be great, man. It's supposed to be like my Knights of the Round Table. They just look like a damn punk in 98 degrees. Fuck.
What I love is you can't spoil anything if it's completely unintelligible to listen to. Bye, Kylo Ren. Oh my goodness.
How interesting would it have been if that movie was
Good.
better? No. But like just the whole thing was just the seduction to the dark side, like making a strong moral case that the dark side is superior. Where it's like it starts off, he's falling asleep listening to AM radio because Kylo Ren wouldn't listen to FM, and then all of a sudden the voice is like, "It's me. I'm on the radio now. It's Palpatine. I'm not really dead, and I'm not gonna just put this in the first 3 words of the crawl because that would be lazy writing. Anyway, let me explain to you why secretly the dark side is the better side."
In fact,
Did you see the prequels? Did you see how all the Jedis are assholes and none of them get laid and they all think they're all soulless Vulcans? Also, I can do that because I'm being directed by the guy who also hijacked another sci-fi universe. Anyway, get us the audience. Like that it's dark side, light side is a lie, a fabrication created by the Jedi, the established order, and really it's a matter like reposition dark side as passion and experiencing all of life and not resisting your human urges.
Didn't we talk about that a few days ago? Because I think I thought that's what they were headed. I thought that Ray was supposed. Is it Ray, right?
Yeah.
She was supposed to balance the force. So she was going to be like, look, you know what? It's not that you deny. It's not you deny your anger. It's not you deny your passion. The thing is that yes, you need the control, but you also have to so I thought it was going to be she was going to be the one to balance the force, and that was going to be and so. But I was like, oh, that'll be great. And then apparently,
how much fun would it be though to, as an audience member, just have almost like a fan deconstruction where it's like at one point Obi-Wan Kenobi says only a Sith deals in absolutes. He said, dealing in absolutes. Like just point out the hypocrisy of everything about the Jedi. Say they're a bunch of fucking frauds. Oh, go ahead.
That the prequels also have Qui-Gon Jinn using the Force to be a dice hustler.
Yeah, there's a lot of places it could have gone. That would be really fun.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
at
at the end of the day, I was so disconnected from the movie that now I kind of like it in the way that I like Batman versus Superman, where it's like, it's so ridiculous and it makes so many weird choices that I'm kind of like, whatever. It's a movie that went off the rails and then fell in the dirt, and then the dirt caved in and it turned into a mine shaft, and then it was on the Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom cart, and then it got punched in the face. And it's like, at least it went on a very weird journey. And yes, it's like at a certain point you can be offended by the fact that they just jam in so much nostalgia and nothing makes sense. But I don't know. I that movie is just so confusing that I'm left with just my hands in the air as compared to like Watchmen, which is excellently crafted, and I just am mad at its laziness because it was so artfully kind of created. I get mad at that. Rise of Skywalker, I'm like, I mean, whatever. I guess I'll just sharpen up all my jokes about the fact that Carrie Fisher just stands like an RPG character that's in the same position whenever you find her in the garden, because they only had one scene of her talking.
Yeah. Shit. I lost it. Never mind. Something about the idea that the only thing that would have made it better is if at the end Palpatine and Rey got along because their mom's name was Martha. like this.
I mean, by the way, same writer as Batman versus Superman.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, he also did Argo, so
okay.
Like he's not just a schlock master, but certainly when it comes to the big budget shit, he really likes these weird ass ideas.
Yeah, and I always wonder when the stories get that strange, I always wonder exactly how much influence the executive producers and the actual studio have. I mean, because often they'll ride you like a little pony, and you're like, and you're like, and my name has to be attached to it. Can I just pull my name off of this? And it just turns out that nope, that's
and I would only imagine that, considering the fact that like Star Wars as a franchise has had a hard time keeping directors on set because they keep getting fired, like that there is a lot of top-down influence from Alan Horn and Bob Iger, right up at the top of the chain, beyond just the people that are already in the Star Wars orbit. I mean, I don't know. There are like the whole JJ cut thing is because there are some like just very weird moments and just these threads that are left totally dangling, and things that are like done and then reversed, like the Chewbacca stuff that like at a certain point you're like what the, who did anybody have a coherent plan?
There was definitely I'll try to keep it away from spoiler territory, but there's definitely like one moment where a major character is flatly depicted as having been killed, and I thought, oh man, they're not messing around, they're really going to have consequences, and then he's not dead. Then there's a moment that another character is like going to be like have his brain destroyed, so he'll be alive but it won't really be him, and I'm like, oh man, that's a consequence, and they're like, no, never mind, and then he's fine. And then it's like there's a character that almost had hurt feelings and then they're like, no, but don't worry, they talked it out at the end.
Now, does it at the very end of the movie, do you realize that they're all actually dead? Is that
no, you realize the franchise is dead. That's the big twist. That was the M. Night Shyamalan.
That's how he picked it up. He's like, all right, this time, guys, this time we kill the franchise.
Yeah, there's so I went to go see. I literally left Austin. I was in Austin, did 3 days of doing
Whirlwind.
bank shows, and then got on a flight, got here to the Bay Area, and went right to a midnight showing of Rise of Skywalker. And our theater, jam-packed, Star Wars diehards. Half of them are in costume. They have to make an announcement about people turning off their lightsabers. They glare against the screen. So this is like the hardcore, true believer audience. The most emotional moment of the movie got derisive laughter. And as we were walking out of the theater, I just looked at Ashley and I go, that was fucking terrible. And 3 people, as if we were in a musical number, turn around and go, I know.
There's definitely like Penny and I, she usually has to go to the bathroom before I do. So she goes to the bathroom, comes back, and I'm like, this happened, but it turned out to not be a thing. This also turned out to not be a thing, whatever. And it's like I go to the bathroom and I come back and I sit next to Penny, and Penny's like, just her hands upturned, and this I don't what do you want? I'm like, don't worry about it.
My experience watching the movie was I mean, you know from the trailer that Emperor Palpatine is back, and if you're hoping for any setup to that, don't.
Do you know?
It's
So
the first 3 words of the fucking crawl.
do you know this? So I was very confused going into that movie because the last movie does not end with, say, Palpatine.
Yeah.
Apparently, the way they expected people to know about this.
Yes. Do you
because-
guys know this? Where the official announcement, the reveal that Palpatine was back and alive on planet Earth. Do you know what this was?
A game?
So
Yes.
So okay, yeah.
Oh wait, what game do you think they announced it on?
Was it a Star Wars Lego game?
Yeah.
That would at least be in the Star Wars universe.
That would make sense.
It's not even in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah.
right?
It was not even that. So during the Game Awards, they announced that J.J. Abrams would do like a special talk during Fortnite.
Oh my God.
And apparently that talk is where it was like a thing that like, oh yeah, here's Palpatine. Palpatine said some stuff.
Palpatine
Oh my
has a
God.
podcast.
Fortnite. They couldn't even like put that at the beginning of the movie before the dead speak. Palpatine is now on Patreon. Fucking what? Crazy.
Which, by the way, so God, we haven't talked about this. Brian, in our first conversation after we both saw the movie, the first thing that he said was that the crawl should have just said, Bill O'Reilly has a podcast.
You thought he was hashtag canceled, but indeed he was not. In fact, I'm going to
So
send
apparently here is that message that they played in Fortnite X Star Wars Rise of Skywalker. By the way, Fortnite getting first billing over Star Wars.
At last, the work of generations is complete. The great error is corrected. The day of victory is at hand. The day of revenge. The day of the Sith.
They couldn't put that
worst
in the movie.
podcast ever. So,
So that's the only place that exists. That's
Yes.
the only place that we just heard.
That's right.
Is well, that's good. Of course.
Doesn't even make it in the movie.
Yeah, good. Of course.
Crazy
Perfect.
shit.
It is referenced that he is sending mysterious broadcasts out throughout the galaxy.
I mean,
That's-
Pirate
yeah.
radio.
it
Hey.
reads very much as Palpatine has a
Hey.
podcast. He was
Hey,
not
yeah.
hashtag canceled.
Hey, Minecraft kids, listen to this.
with the youth. So,
Minecraft,
Bryce, I sent you 2 emails. One,
I see.
for whatever reason, Justin and I are the only people who are just obsessed with this idea of Palpatine's
That's right.
podcast.
Okay. Oh, I see some.
And
see
so
images
I was going through, I was reading some mobile article on Reason.com, and then I looked and there was a organically generated ad that boiled down to Bill O'Reilly has a podcast. It says former Fox News host is back in a
Yeah.
big way. Even POTUS tweeted about it. Watch.
And so here we go. So it's 2 ads. One of them is Bill O'Reilly with his hands up, like, "Come on, people, it's the no spin zone." And then right below it, what Brian sends me is a totally unrelated ad of a woman in a car with her hands up against
Yeah,
the window.
just picture,
In the woods.
Is that Dr.
Clip
Who?
art Taylor Swift. Or
Is that the
something.
new Doctor Who stuck in a Lexus?
That's what it looks like.
And,
Okay.
but I also like that she's looking up at him with her hands up, like she's like
Which
this.
it's funny you should mention that, Mike, because within minutes, this is what I get from Justin.
That's awesome. That.
You won't believe this one cool trick to kill a woman in a Lexus. Experts hate me.
Yes, I, Sheev Palpatine, and this is the pro Sith zone.
Hey, let's take a look at Showbot for some titles for this episode here in the cropping dimension, including our top one, Brian Brushwood, A National Buffoon Vacation. The hay bossiest place on Earth. Flee to the L World. L Word, L World, huh? Get set, hey boss. Justin is the new Mikey. Our new agency, Dewey, Bottom, and How. Hey boss is Brian's fetish.
The best unlaid plans.
Best unlaid pretty good. Tomorrow's the Pee My Pants day. Even though it's not okay, it's still okay. Crimes against humanities. The Florida Whistle? I don't quite remember that one.
Oh, that was my you blow a conch shell and
Oh, yeah. Island time.
you get comps to Disney.
Blow into a pub sub.
Hey,
Yeah.
Bosturbation. That sounds more like a Boston thing. That's not a Boston.
Yeah, no, keep going. How they
No, I think we're good. I think we got that one wrong. Let's see. Congratulations, Bonnie's dead.
Protect that end of the sentence like a Fabergé egg.
Out the Bryce line. Bryce fucking was the all-star.
was great.
That's my vote. That's my vote.
Yeah, that one's pretty awesome.
Let's see here. Or it'll be great with the ellipses on either side. Once upon a time in Hey Boss. Excited for a vacation.
Ill-named Arab state. We don't know what the next 48 hours look like
yeah.
for international
Very
politics.
Weinstein and his underground DDR sessions. Weinstein, the thing about Harvey Weinstein, and people don't know this, is he loves Dynamite Rave. He really fucking kills it.
Oh my God. That was a good one.
Some would say it's his second favorite thing to do.
Let's see. Great or cheap or great.
Great and cheap or great.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's see. Actually, I'm going to click on that one. Let's see. Ghostin' FM. What you got? 50-50, 2020.
Big false energy.
Big false energy.
I hear a racist joke. I want to fade to black.
Attention, eugenics.
The Romance Council awards you 7 vaginas.
Pretty good.
That one's pretty awesome
That
too.
one.
For your 1 million dicks.
Disproportionate by a lot. All right, let's.
The inflation on dicks has been out of control.
They're getting older, so. All right, let's go back to the top and see. Let's take a look at some best unlaid plans. Is pretty good. I'm
gonna go get a beverage.
Sure,
Does anybody
Justin-
want something? Or?
Yeah, I can
Vote is protect the end of that sentence like a Fabergé egg. I know it's
Okay.
long.
That's
All
great.
right, we've got that. Thank you to Open Bayou and everyone who submits show titles using the Bang S command in the chat room. Justin.
By the way, let me give a big shout out to Rock and Roll Martian. He was our bit boss.
Oh, yes, you missed it.
This episode with 2K bits.
Thank you
Nice.
so much.
Wow, awesome.
Greatly appreciated.
yeah. Justin, why don't you talk to Mike TV about his new album? We didn't even talk about the new album.
Yeah,
even,
we didn't.
while I write emails.
So, Mike, I'm going to set the over-under at 75,000 songs that your new album's at. Am I close?
Only slightly over.
Yeah. You're just a couple.
I think Mike TV's new album has so many songs. It has its own national debt clock. That
Just for reference, I think I played on 8 or 10 songs, and that was under a quarter of the album.
Yeah. You know, it's funny, but I now make albums for basically hardcore fans, and I have basically people that are like, hey Mike, I'm listening to your record like kind of nonstop. And so for me, I'm like, oh, if you're gonna do that, like I might as well make them long records, so you don't burn them. Because I hate listening to an album, a 10-song album, half an hour of running length, and I burn it out. I burn it out on 10 listens, and then I never want to hear it again. So for me, I'm like, okay, I'll put on like I'll make long drive albums. You know, I'll make albums that you listen to when you walk your dog, and you don't get to the end of the album until day 7 of your dog walking. You know, and that way I hope that they have a little bit more life. You know.
I mean, look, I think there was certainly an element of if you got it, flaunt it. If you can write 45 songs that you feel should go on an album, then awesome. You are now just the Uncle Milty of rock musicians, where you're just pulling out enough to win. But I don't know. I'm always impressed by it, because whenever you listen to your stuff, it's like it's not like you're just pumping out like, hey, ho, ho, fucking, this track has got to go. Like these are great written songs.
Thank you, man. Yeah, you know, I mean, it's funny because I do for every record I've written. Well, in fact, that was why my very first like quadruple album was in 2017. But this is the first time where I sat down and wrote. But I wrote like 70 or 80 songs, you know, and I played them 4 hours a day, 5 days a week in front of my Twitch audience. So I was vetting these songs, and I basically just took this. Whenever anybody said I love that song, I was like, okay, that one goes on the list. And then I took like the 50 songs people said I love that song, and I did studio demos of them, and I gave them out to my Twitch audience, and people were like, I love these songs, and so it was only the songs where I had people say I love this song that stay on the record, you know, and it just turns out that there were 45 songs and a hidden track, you know.
Yeah, dude. Awesome. So is it available now?
Yeah, so it's available. It's available. It dropped on December 17th. You can, and again, I highly recommend. Don't buy it. Listen to it on. Listen to it. No. What I'm saying is,
look, man. When I launch this new podcast, you're gonna be fucking patient zero.
Brian's got all sorts of advice over there.
This is my thing. This is my thing. Spotify.
Tag to Brian. I'm gonna go pee.
Okay. So Spotify, Apple Music, they're like stream the shit out of it. Stream it a lot. Like it's designed for long. It's designed to be listened to for a long time. My hope is that people will still be listening to this album a year from now and still be finding amazing things out of it a year from now.
So to be honest, yeah. I'm giving you sass because it's funny, but truthfully, one of the core theses of the old way things were done is that you got the money first and then you delivered something of value.
Yeah.
The new way is you deliver value first and then let people give you money. And in that regard, you are 100% right. Like maybe this album deserves to be loved by you, prospective person.
Yeah.
I trust you enough to give it your full attention. So as payment, I will give it to you for free. But once you love it, know that there is the rest of the story behind it. And I hope that I have delivered enough value that you will not even think twice about buying the whatever parts that go along with it, the rest of the story.
That's in fact, that's exactly my perspective now.
Right.
And so, what I did is I was like, okay, I've been playing now. I've been playing and writing music for a long time. I've written thousands of songs, or at least between 1,000 and 2,000 songs easily. Probably more like between 2,000 and 3,000 songs. So I have a lot of practice.
Yeah, but how many dicks do you have?
I have close to 1 million dicks.
But only 7 vaginas. That's a really poor allocation.
Yeah, man, those vaginas are getting tired. the way that I totally lost my train of thought. What was I saying? The albums are crap. What was I saying?
Man, look, I got all the words
This
for you.
sucks.
Here's what you want. Here's what you meant to say. You meant to say that the songs are merely the outward-facing expressions.
Well, no, and
I'm sorry,
and
I'm talking for you right now.
Yes,
No,
but these are-
no, go
I
ahead.
totally forgot. But this is master level. This is the first time in my entire life where I feel like I have put out an album where I would hold this up against any other record. I would hold it up against the Beatles. I'd hold it up against the Beach Boys. I'd hold it up against Radiohead. The thing is that
What a tableau.
well, I mean, the thing is that like
I put it up against the Humpty Dance. I put it up against
I'm thinking people
the Streak.
I'm thinking people that kind of innovated in their time. So my buddy Schmed, who played with Ween and Weezer, and Ben Vaughn and Brian Bell, formerly of Weezer, and now with this other stuff.
Is Ween still touring?
Yeah, they still do stuff. I mean, they and Schmidt actually did string arrangements for them.
Yeah.
So and Trey. So it's just the three of us, but they're all like so. So I've spent years and years and years mastering my getting, and I think I finally got to a point where like it's just good, solid, really strong songwriting with amazing performances by amazing like world class. So I finally this is the very first time I've ever put out a record where I'm like yeah, I mean there's nothing I would change on this album. You know, I've never put out an album like that. I'm like, this is my masterpiece. So I've gotten close. Fear of Your Lonely Heart is a great record. Here Be Dragons is a great record. You know, like Ordinary World's a great record. But this is the first time where I'm like, yeah, man, like this is pound for pound. There's not a bad song. There are a couple of challenging songs, but for the most, I mean. But I busted my ass on this thing.
The core of what this podcast and book is going to be is basically creating a frictionless way for an independent artist to harvest. And basically,
You may want to break this down for people because you've not mentioned this on Night Attack, and you
correct.
only mentioned it a little bit on Afterthing.
Correct. Basically, we once we started moving in here, I didn't know why, but I knew it was important to me to put a whiteboard up. And then like on a Friday afternoon I put up a whiteboard, and suddenly it's 2 a.m. and I started with the words "what we do here," and I drew a circle. Picture a recycling circle that goes clockwise, and it just has S for story, A for attention, and then $ for sales, and then continues to reinvest. So the idea is you've got a thing, whatever the thing is, and you want to build an audience for the thing, and then you build up enough value that you harvest a sustainable yield of whatever that is, whether it's actions, whether it's upvotes, whether it's dollars or whatever, and then you reinvest it back into telling bigger and more interesting stories, right? Or more detailed stories. Everything in the music industry, for some reason, everybody wants to go backwards. If you have an amazing album, what you want more than anything is to go backwards on the circle and go straight to the part where somebody cuts you a check.
Yeah.
And that is a lie. It is so inefficient a way to do it that the music industry was built on it.
Yeah.
They were gatekeepers.
Yeah.
And then and it's not even what the audience wanted, because the audience wanted to, like, well, I don't know. I want to know if I love a thing before I buy the thing or whatever. And likewise, there are other examples of, for example, let's say one day you go to, you wake up in the morning and you're nobody, but by that evening you've married Britney Spears, and suddenly you wake up the next day and you're one of the most famous people on the planet. You're Kevin Federline. What do you desperately want more than anything is the respect that should come along with being that famous.
Yeah.
So what do? As fast as you can, you want to go backwards on the circle and try to go straight to having a good story, and you release a shitty rap album that becomes universally lampooned, right? Likewise, if what you have is money and you want attention, you buy fucking ads, which is a highly inefficient way to buy attention. So the whole core of everything, if you intend to be an independent artist and you want to make it, and you want to build something, an engine that will take you to whatever you define as success, then you have to take the long way around. So in this case, you make a new album, and again, I almost feel bad for mocking you. But your instincts are 100% right, because the short way is, well, I have a new album. please give me money. That's harvesting before you've planted. You know, the story is the seed, attention is the cultivation, and then harvesting is the sustainable yield that gets reinvested. And it's so interesting because when you try to go the wrong way on the circle, you end up with a shitty sales funnel, which is familiar to entrepreneurs. But meanwhile, farmers know that you have to keep on continuously planting and then and cultivating.
Yep, amen. And that's and to use your farming model, the thing is like you got to keep doing crop rotation. You can't like if you do the one thing,
you can't over harvest the same thing.
Because it will eventually run fallow. Someone will show up and do it better than you, or do it differently, or just get more pizzazz. I mean, that's the thing that drives me nuts is Get Set Go. We really had our heyday just as the internet was burgeoning, you know, and so I didn't know how to capitalize on our internet exposure. So people were looking for us. They'd say tens of millions of people would watch Grey's Anatomy, and they'd hear one of our songs, and they go, "Who is this?" And we didn't have a web presence, you know. We didn't have a way for them to find us. And in fact, that's when I put on our MySpace page as heard on Grey's Anatomy. All of a sudden, our numbers started spiking, and that's how we got to 70,000, 80,000 friends. You know, because of that. You know.
That is in the framework that I'm trying to flesh out. That is a case where you already had a rich story. Think of story, attention, and sales as different currencies.
Sure.
Only one of them is actual currency, but the other, you were already wealthy in story, but that was your opportunity where all of a sudden you became over leveraged in attention. All of a sudden you very smartly, you know, harvested, you got as many of those attention dollars as you could during that run. And then you were able to harvest however much into money. And I know that there's an up and down history of everything that happened after that.
Yeah.
But now you're in a place where you have over years and years and years built up an incredibly deep long-term story that as you continue to attract attention, and now by doing stuff like this, you're able to harvest a sustainable yield and reinvest it into telling more bigger, interesting stories.
Yeah, and from my perspective, again, so I've been focusing on getting better at what I do, and delivering a level of quality. So I realize I don't have a vehicle. I have a really strong vehicle. Oh, and it's not really my interest for like I'm not going to put out a record and then I'm not going to spend 3 months working on a record and then spend the next 9 months promoting the record. That's not what I like to do. I like to make music. I like to play music. I like to record music.
So you need to solve this, because what you have is a very strong interest in the story side of thing. And this is every artist's problem. Every artist wants to believe that they'll find a business guy that will take them, because again, what you have is story to beat the band.
Sure.
What you want is enough money to keep on doing your story thing. Sure. And most artists are like, oh, you get 90% and I get 10%, but I'll be able to eat, right? Great. Okay, I'll sign that contract, because all of us desperately want to go the wrong way around it. So, but as your advisor, self-appointed,
sure.
I strongly encourage you to whatever you like. Number one, just like anybody who's in financial trouble needs to write down a budget, they need to know how much money they have and how much money they owe. You need to quantify in real numbers what your attention reach is. If I told you I have the cure for cancer and you have to reach 100,000 people in the next 70 minutes, could you do it? And you need to know flatly yes or no whether that is, right?
Yeah.
And so whatever that number is, you need to set a target to expand, as I think of it, the gravity well of attention, and focus on that before harvesting, because I know you want to spend 80% of your time doing on story,
sure,
and 20% on whatever pays the bills,
sure.
But you need to either A, trust somebody to do all that work outside of you, which very rarely works.
Yeah.
Or you need to take responsibility of going the long way around and saying, I personally am going to, as Justin pointed out, when you do a Kickstarter launch, don't set your funding goals for your unlocks based on dollars. Instead, set it on number of people or number of forwards or number of retweets or whatever, because that's going the right way in the circle. What you have is an awesome kick-ass card game.
Yeah.
What you want to do is say,
get people
give me the money. But
expending
you
reach.
must
That's
not
great.
do that. That's you going the wrong way in the circle. So instead
great.
what you
That's
do
great.
is you say, if we just get 10,000 retweets, then we'll unlock all of these other things. So now you have a non-monetary thing that expands the story, gets your stuff in front of more people, and then comes the time for the harvesting. And then at that point, that's when you just want to make sure you don't over harvest. But very few independent artists are even able to over harvest. It's only big projects like a Skywalker franchise that can over harvest. And then once you get the money or the clicks or the emails or whatever it is, then reinvest it on the next iteration of the story.
Yeah, no, yeah. In fact, that's actually great. That's one thing that I haven't really. I mean, so I think right now I've finally gotten to a point where I'm like okay, now I'm making music at the level that I think I knew I could always make. I'm now at a point where I'm like I can now do it the way I want to do it, and I can do it, and I now have enough people in my life that can help me do it, that make it even more awesome. So now I don't have. So that's locked down. That's awesome. So now I'm like, okay, now I need other revenue streams. I figure out these books, the things. Is like there's other things. But the one thing I haven't really done, except for like just doing Twitch and then doing and guesting on here and hanging, like the thing is it like I haven't really spent much time kind of looking at how do I expand my attention, how do I expand my reach, Well,
and by the way, nobody can fault you for that, because as far as I know, I'm not going to. I don't want to overstate what I think I've figured out, but I think people think in terms of only two currencies, and there are secretly three currencies.
Yeah, sure.
There was somebody at one point said there's only three currencies: sex, money, and power, or whatever. And I'm like, pretty sure all three of those are the same currency, And it's like, but. There definitely is a difference between monetary power and artistic power, but as far as I know, nobody's really focused on that reach power, which previously has not been, which has been heavily gate kept up until this moment, and because.
It's true. Brian's real. That money, sex, power is the same currency, because I only fuck wearing a crown and I clean up my cum with dollar bills.
With dollar bills, man. Let me recommend upgrading to the Benjis, because they really do sop up the cum. They do, yeah.
At least try 5.
Yeah.
One time I got a real fucking loadster on old fucking old Benny Franks.
Yeah. But in fact, that's
just to wrap it up, because I don't want to overstep anything.
Sure.
But I would say the one thing I would make sure that you should do is yes, right now you have some amount of credit and you're finally harvesting fully.
Yeah.
Because there are some people you have a very deep relationship with where $250, $500, whatever. Yes, please take it. That's how deep this means to me.
Yeah.
And it's good that you're harvesting that. But I would say that the next thing, shit. Once you hit this Kickstarter goal, the next thing you should do is do an audit and figure out how many people am I reaching, how many people out there should I be reaching, and what can I do that will target them. And I'll tell you who's doing this really well, and I think Justin would agree, is watching Ali Spagnola on Twitter is remarkable, because she is super dialed in on what are people already talking about. The majority of people. What is a thing that is within my wheelhouse that I can offer that is just remotely shareable in that? And how can I bring those people into not the core of the gravity well, where you're able to charge $250 for this, but in the periphery, so that they orbit it for 2, 3, 4, 6 months, and then finally, okay, now you're a fan.
Yeah. In fact, and I'm certain. I mean, that's one thing that I haven't really. I haven't really spent a lot of time, because you're right. The thing is, one thing I could do is find things because I always have to do it through the lens of the things that I find interesting, the things that turn me on. Because the thing is, like, I need to make sure that I need to make sure that my genuine current, like the me is always authentic, But that said, there are a lot of things I love that where they're I'm certain on Twitter, I'm certain on Facebook or wherever people like or Instagram. I'm certain there are things that are happening that people that are trending, people are getting excited about that I could totally write. I could totally write and record a completely fully produced song on that in 24 hours and have it up. And I could do that once a week. And that would be super easy for me to do. And the thing is that like and that would show off my songwriting skills and how prolific I am. So it's that kind of stuff that like I'm just now being like, okay, now that I know I can do this well, now that I've got a good team behind me, and now that I know I've got other things I can do to help support me as I'm plowing this field. Like I'm setting up a new field for the
So
awesome.
Can I make a bizarre suggestion? Because to me, like in your situation, what I struggle with is I don't want to do something for the mercenary effect of attracting more followers, right?
Amen.
As I once said to Brant, we know what the most effective thing on YouTube to do is, but we would like to preserve enough of our souls. And so, as I put it, we know the recipe for a turd sandwich. We know that turd sandwiches are very, very popular. I don't want to make turd sandwiches, right?
Yeah.
But you can preserve your artistic integrity and your excitement for it by setting up a part of the story that is a firewall. Like, for example, what if somebody sent you tablature to a song and you said you would write lyrics not knowing what the song was? Maybe it's a very popular rap song or pop song or whatever.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden it's like, here's a dude who's trying to tell a story to a song he doesn't even know.
Yeah.
But secretly everybody under the age of 17 knows this song, right?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
vice versa. Somebody
Yeah.
sends you the lyrics to a song. They're like, make these lyrics into a song.
Yeah.
And then you can do it. Now that's something where you feel pure. You're like, yeah, I don't know where this came from or what it is, but here's how talented I am. I'm doing a thing.
Yeah.
And then the world gets to, in the video class, we talk about niche, type, and spice. Type is the structure, whatever the thing, is it a how-to video? Is it a music song or whatever? Spice is what you do that is the surprise that is interesting. But niche is the most important part. That's the thing that very few people focus on, which is what is the unmet need in the universe?
Sure.
What is the thing that nobody's doing? And you found a niche when you describe what you do and you try to think of the competition you face and you realize there is none. So there were lots of in the very early days of YouTube's, there were lots of instructional videos on Magic. They were all a pair of hands and off-camera shitty mics, whatever, right? I'm like, well, who's out there doing, with the quality of a television show with real people at the bar teaching really good Magic?
Yeah.
Nobody? Great, congratulations! I'm gonna plant my flag right
amen.
here. This is my niche, right? So likewise, you can manufacture that niche and own it while preserving your artistic soul.
Yeah. No, in fact,
reaching out.
Yeah, in fact, and that I definitely see that, and I definitely, I think that. Now that anyway, I definitely think that's something I can do, and I can actually do that easily. I mean, I could literally do that. I could do that easily and do it for 6 hours a week, and I think leverage that 6 hours into significant more impressions, significant more reach. Because the thing is, like, there's all sorts of cool, interesting, meme-y kind of stuff that's happening all the time that I could do something fun and silly and clever and put out and just write a song and be like, here you go, this is something that's super relevant and happening right now, and I just wrote this song, and it's got drums and bass and guitar and piano, and it sounds like a professionally produced single, and it happened over the past 24 hours.
I think that's your job, is to out there are a bunch of people who already love and understand the music of Mike TV, and they have friends who they suspect they could seduce into loving Mike TV the way they did, but what they need is to make their job as easy as possible. So imagine all those people with friends who have things they care about, and then imagine like, hey, all of you, think of a friend. What's the thing they love? Send me something that they love. Let me perform it, and then all of a sudden you're making it very easy for them to share and bridge that, and you're expanding the gravity well is the metaphor.
In fact, I definitely get that. In fact, and I can already think of a whole number of different ways to skin that cat, and I definitely think that so that's one thing I haven't really spent a lot of time doing, is thinking about, okay, well, how do I I've been making my music my way for basically me, and then people have found like the people that identify with my music. Great. The thing is that like now that'd be fun. That'd be fun to do for the next year. Is just experiment with like let me see if I can reach a much broader audience by just taking the skills that I've honed over 20 years and see what I can do leveraging them.
If not. Like it shouldn't feel like work to you. Just make it easy for your team, your followers, your fans to make it like and that's the best part is they all know like what is the easy. If I were to do a mashup of blank, what is the thing that you would most be interested in sharing immediately? And they'll tell you.
And that's I think that's where I'll start. But I mean, things like, and I think I've been doing stuff that has an even broader appeal from that. Like once I start doing this, and let's say I something relevant, and I start doing these things, and these people start seeing them consistently, and they start finding them consistently, because that's really the thing is like so when they can go down, you give them a rabbit hole to go down,
Right.
So I give them that rabbit hole, and I've got 20 songs, and they're all fun and they're all clever. The thing is I also think that like the co-writing songs with the chat, and like particularly the album that I'm going to be releasing in the middle of this year is the chat album. We wrote 10 songs, and every single person that contributed anything to that song is actually getting listed as a co-writer with BMI. They're getting registered. So there's on some of the songs there's gonna be like 150 co-writers, And the thing is like, I know it's gonna break BMI's system. I'm gonna have to come out and be like, no, all these people contributed to this song.
Right.
There's 150 people.
Here's documentation of the entire event.
Yep. And the thing is like, I think that I just I find ways to drop little attention bombs. And then find ways to funnel people to get them actively involved. Like I think that's the co-writing thing. I think there are ways I can make them part of the band. I can make them part of the process.
At the risk of breaking up some of the business talk, I was hoping we could hear maybe a little bit of music here in the after show. I don't
Hells
know.
yeah.
If,
but just to sum it up, I think what you're doing right is you're finally harvesting the deep love of your hardest core fans with stuff like this, because the reason everybody wants to go backwards is I could say all of this and you're like, yeah, no, I get it. Of course I should be reaching out and doing stuff for other fans, but I got to pay the rent, Jack. And it's like, and everybody wants to go backwards on the circle. And by giving yourself a little bit of financial breathing room, you're able to invest. You're like, okay, now I can relax. Okay, what is some stuff we could do for fun just to expand the circle?
And that's exactly. And I think that for the first time in the past like 3 or 4 years, I do have that window.
Fucking
so that's
great,
exciting.
man.
Yeah,
I'm so happy to hear that. Now play music. Play music for our fans.
You haven't played any songs from Hesitation Cuts tonight, is that right?
No, I've
we've
played.
only played.
It's all Hesitation Cuts. So, this is another one. This is actually this is not a silly song, but it's one of the big themes on the new record, because I spent all of 2018 and 2019 working on this album. I in the middle of 2019, I realized I'm like, I don't hang out with people. I don't leave my house. I don't interact with people at all. And I realized that the only time I had human interaction was when I was at the grocery store, and I'd be buying some. And one guy, when I was buying some food, the teller didn't even look up. He just saw that I had beer, and he saw, I guess maybe the way I was dressed, because he was on his phone. He didn't look up at me, and he just said, "Hey, are you over 21?" And I looked at him and I was like, dude, this is my only human interaction I get. You can't even look at me. And from that came this song. So it's called See Me. There's so many faces that don't see me. I've been so many places with so many faces I've gone unseen, and I'm all alone, and I'm on my own. I've gotten lost in a bottle, going for throttle till I couldn't see. A drink don't make it better, my lips are just redder, but still I'm unseen, and I'm all alone, and I'm on my own. And I just wanna scream, here I am, see me. Missing the feel of a body next to my body as I sleep. Missing conversation with the lover loving me. And I'm all alone, and I'm on my own. And I just wanna scream, here I am, see me. I just wanna scream, here I am, see me. There's so many faces that don't see me. I've been so many places with so many faces I've gone unseen. And I'm all alone, and I'm on my own.
Hells yeah.
Yeah, right on. Yeah.
Good stuff.
See me. Hey, thank you, man. Yeah. That's fun. In fact, there's I have so much music. It's ridiculous. Trey has some buddies, and we actually all sat down and recorded some live versions of those songs.
Oh,
so
wow.
we have like what's like 8 songs, 6 songs. It's like we have a little
Somewhere
EP.
around there.
So anyway, it's just
and for any of you who don't know, Tuesday nights before Night Attack, use 6 to 8 Central Time. At least me and Mike are usually playing, and lately it's been me, Mike, and the rest of the band. So a full band playing.
we got 4 guys
leading
playing.
up until Night Attack. And
I mean, I'm just going to put this out here. I mean, we're probably not going to take anything down. If you guys wanted to do, I'm just saying.
I mean, really? I mean, hell yeah, dude. I mean, if you wanted to maybe scroll,
we'll talk more afterwards.
Yeah.
I'm not going to obligate you guys to drive over all the time. I'm just saying, that's how it's going to be for
We
a
have a
while.
lot of space and a lot of lights.
I mean, Trey did just build an absolutely gorgeous streaming
Trey's place
studio.
is
it's
insane.
Yeah.
It's
it is.
a great spot.
Also, I haven't told you yet, but there's a second place now.
Oh shit! Oh shit!
We'll talk.
We'll talk. Because I know you were looking at the one. We're gonna form a commune.
Again?
We're gonna secede.
Trying to.
You know, I think if you just get enough land and then you put a post office box, then you become your own. We're
not far from
city.
it.
A village or
That's
something
the
like that.
law,
I think
I'm told.
I think that's how that works in the United States, right?
Dude. Okay. What are we at? Oh shit! It's midnight. God damn it.
How'd that happen?
Are we wrapping up, or you got?
I can keep going. I'm just
Yeah.
putting little tunes on.
Yeah. Do you mind playing another song? Can we do a little bit of late night concert or?
Yeah. What else do we know?
Songs. Yeah. Have you written any other songs, Mike?
Well, I'm trying to think.
This from the guy who literally just said, "I've got so much fucking music.
Yeah.
I have more music than I have dicks. I have a million dicks."
Well, I mean, do you know?
Yeah,
which,
I do.
Okay.
We've been over this. Just play a song and I'll join you.
Let me see. Does anybody in the chat? Is there? Okay. Let me. All right. So let's do.
We're getting requests for Wonderwall. Do you know?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I love this new
It's
abstract.
so good. Yeah.
I will say, side news.
What's that?
My side news. My daughter is, I think, going to be a very good dungeon master. Like we, for the second time, have played D&D as a family. and it was a total blast. And I'm so glad that I picked a bard, the character class I would never ever wanted to play.
You're continuing with the same campaign, same
Yeah.
characters. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
And for the first time in I think like 3 or 4 years, I picked up my acoustic guitar and just I don't know, played the 3 chords I know, whatever, and then just improvised funny lyrics that were in world. I mean, it was pretty great. I hope
that's
it turns
awesome,
into
man.
something.
There really is. It's so strange how like oral storytelling, like communal storytelling, can be, anyway. I love role playing. The thing is, I mean, I've been doing it since I was a little kid. But I mean, it's like I don't see why every parent doesn't just like be like, all right, we're gonna play this game when they like because it really is it basically just it gets your whole brain. It's not as magical as music, but it's pretty damn near close.
I also love role playing, and I started as an adult, but I played a little kid.
Yeah. I can see that, and I bet you did very well.
In my house, no one wanted to play. I always wanted to play like Monopoly. I was the only person who liked Monopoly. No one liked to play any of the board games, and we all had, we had all the staples.
I mean, I don't want to jinx it or nothing, but like it seems like this is something everybody's digging, and I'm like, oh my god.
That's awesome.
My friend Dan Martin told me a horrifying fact, which is 95% of all of the time you will ever experience with your child will happen before they're 18. After that, whatever you got by the time they're 18, that's 95% of your entire life's existence that you will have with your child. Everything else is the 5% after. And knowing that Penny is 2 years and 2 months away from 18 has me very hopeful that our family rallies around for the next a very long campaign of Dungeons and Dragons.
That would be and really and it is when you get into year-long or years-long campaigns, they become spectacular. They become really magical because everybody knows their characters so well and they know the story so well and they're so vested in that story. It really does. I've been involved in like 5 and 6 year campaigns that really to me feel like a series of novels. Like we'll still go back and talk about games. The friends that I'm playing with the same group of friends for 30 plus years.
Well, you have a shared world, a shared shorthand for everything.
That's exactly, and it's literally like the best. Because you were an active participant in it, it's like only you've seen the Star Wars movie, the original trilogy.
Right.
You're like, oh my god, wasn't that great? Yeah, it's just super cool. All right, let's do badum badum. So all right, so this is one of the singles. I might not remember all the lyrics, but I'll just make it up if we. Badum badum. Badum 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 badum. Oh, here, let me. Trey doesn't. Badum 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 badum. When there are no words and there's nothing to say and everything's all been said. When the inks run dry and you're holding a pen and the pencil's out of lead. Well, that should never stop you. You can just sing instead. Badum 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 badum. There's just too much and it overwhelms and it crashes over you. When you can't cry out or call for help and there's nothing you can do. Well, don't you worry, sister. You can sing it too. It goes badum badum. Badum 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 badum. Sometimes there's just nothing to say, and everybody breaks, and everybody hurts, and sometimes there just aren't any words. Sometimes there's nothing to say. Ladies and gentlemen, Super Trey Wonder. Badum cry out or call for help and there's nothing you can do, well, don't you worry, sister. You can sing it too. It goes ba-dum, 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 ba-da, ba-dum, 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 ba-da. Sometimes there's just nothing to say, and everybody breaks, and everybody hurts, and sometimes there just aren't any words. Sometimes there's nothing to say, and there's just no words. Sometimes there's nothing to say, and there's just no ba-dum, 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 ba-da, ba-dum, 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 ba-da, ba-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-dum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-dum, 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 ba-da-dum.
Yeah.
Yeah, right on. Donkey Shane.
Ba-dum,
Dun. Yeah, that one specifically designed just be an earworm. You know, just be like, you're walking away.
Well, I
and
mean,
go,
it's
"All
like
right."
I already remember. I memorized all the lyrics. It's pretty great.
Well, yeah,
It's always
yeah,
good to know. Always good to have your
It's
favorite.
it's like that old rap song named. Wiki wiki. Man, do we have anything left in the tank? Where are we at?
I think we up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was awesome. So thank you guys. Seriously,
Dude, this was fantastic. It was awesome.
yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. I love you guys with all my heart. Thank you. You know,
Mike
Justin,
TV Live here on Twitch.
Bryce.
If you're not following him already.
Yeah, let's go raid his vacant channel. That would actually be fun. Is like you could leave the channel running with the sign that says currently over at Night Attack, and then we could go raid it.
Trey Warren, of course, always great accompaniment.
Thank you.
Trey.
Very good stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
Brian and Justin, as always. We'll be back with. We'll probably have some streams on Friday. I think Friday night Bryce is back.
Nice.
We'll have a little bit of remote action next week as Brian is in the happiest place on earth or
yeah.
somewhere else.
We'll see how happy it
the
is.
happiest
question mark.
I mean, I might
manatees.
be checking out
might be
manatees.
happy.
I'm like,
Might
ooh,
be.
look at that sea cow.
Justin still holding down the fort as always.
That's me holding down the fort. Raise the dead.
Raise the
Season
dead.
finale.
Raise the dead. Hell yeah, man.
RaiseTheDeadPodcast.com.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. I'm gonna listen to it on Thursday.
Dude, you're gonna love it.
I
Yeah,
better.
dude.
I better. I'll come after you, Justin, if I don't. No.
Oh yeah, and if you like the show or you had a question about it or you wanted more information on stuff, we're doing a mailbag episode next week, so that'll be a thing. And also, maybe next week we will announce the subject of season 2. which is currently-
Awesome.
Ooh.
Awesome.
Thank you everybody for watching, having what a fantastic way to start 2020.
Hell's
Can I
yeah.
just say that?
Right
A
on.
fantastic
Yeah.
way to start 2020.
Olé.
Thank you
Oh
everybody.
yeah.
We will catch you next time.
See you next Tuesday.
Get it while it's hot.